Have you ever had an interview and the candidate was amazing? You hired them on the spot, and then within just a few weeks, they weren't the right fit? Have you ever spoken with a candidate and just thought, you get me and my business so much, and then they come inside and they don't have the skills that you need at all? If you've answered yes to either one of these questions, stay here. I'm going to give you the secret to interviewing right and hiring the best candidate for the job on the first try. My name is Melissa Franks, and I am your on-call COO, and after 25 years working in the corporate world, all the way up to COO, I'm now helping small business owners just like you apply tactics and tricks to get yourself positioned for exponential growth. Interviewing is a difficult process for anybody, and it really is an art form. The master interviewers, the people that are best at interviewing, have dedicated their lives to cultivating and crafting just the right questions to be able to identify who is the best fit for the role that they are searching for. This is why headhunters make so much money, because they know exactly where to find the talent, the questions to ask, and how to verify that they're going to be the right fit. And you as a small business owner, let's be frank, you don't have time to interview people. You are creating products, you are selling services, you are helping your clients, you are growing your business, and often you are out there interviewing because you have a critical need. There's a problem in your business and you need it to be solved. You are at max capacity and need an extra set of hands. And frankly, you don't have enough time to really verify if the candidates sitting in front of you are right. If they've got a pulse, let's get them in and figure it out as we go. The fact of the matter is that when you do that, you will lose time. When you bring in the wrong candidate, there can be significant ripples within your business. It can decrease team morale. It can make people frustrated. It can damage your brand. It can take your time away from doing the things that you thought you were going to have time to do because you were coaching and mentoring and training the person you hired to solve all your problems. So to get to the root of the problem, really what this comes down to is understanding the right questions to ask in an interview so that you can determine if the person sitting in front of you is the right fit and have the right skills to do what you need and propel your business forward. As I promised, there is one specific question to ask, a method, if you will, a technique to follow for you to really identify if this person is the right one. Now, I'm going to tell you what that is, and I want to preface it by saying that you don't want to use this on everybody. This is your secret weapon. It's the thing that you pull out when you're almost certain you have exactly the right person and you just want to confirm it one more time. You should be asking all of the standard interview questions. You should be looking at their resume. You should be calling references. This question, this technique, does not replace all of those good best practices. Now, to illustrate this point very, very specifically, I'm going to tell you the question and I'm going to give you an example. I want you to really understand why it's so critical to do this in the right way. Are you ready? What you're going to do is you are going to describe in just a sentence or two a very specific problem that your business has had recently that you have already solved. Now, it doesn't matter if you were happy with how you implemented the solution. It's just you had a problem and it was solved. Describe this to the candidate and then say, how would you resolve this issue if you had been working here when it presented? That's it. You give them a problem that your business has experienced already and solved, and then you ask them to tell you what solutions they would implement. Now, this is going to do a couple of things, and I'm going to tell you what that tests at the very end and what to do with the answer when you get it. I developed this technique many, many years ago in a corporate setting. When I became chief operating officer, the good news was I was a C-suite executive. The bad news was I had a lot of functions that I was responsible for, and I did not have the skill set or the expertise to be able to manage them effectively. When I was hiring for senior leaders in those functions, this technique was born. And very specifically, one of the areas that I was responsible for was information security. I was responsible for the security of our clients and our data centers, and other things. And I knew very little about that area of expertise, which is highly specialized. So as I was bringing in candidates to interview, the good news is that we had a recent set of challenges in the information security space. And I was able to take 3 different examples and present that to the candidates and say, we had this problem. If you were here, how would you have addressed it? What actions would you take? And what solution would you implement? And I was able, with those scenarios, to evaluate the following things: the level and depth of expertise. Do they actually know what they're talking about? The understanding of the level of urgency required to resolve the problem. I was able to watch how they problem solved on their feet. Was it something they could do? Did they need to take time away? Did they ask for a pause? I was also able to see how they assessed a problem. Did they take what I said at face value and assumed that that was fact, or did they investigate? Did they interview me further to find out more information? You see, when I asked them to solve a problem that I had already solved, I knew what the solution was. I knew how happy I was or unhappy I was with it, and what I was able to do was test how they solve problems. I was able to test the level of expertise that they had and how they would actually work inside of our organization and team. Now, the first time I used that, the good news was I hired the right candidate. It was a perfect fit. And then as I continued to refine this technique over time and train my team to do it, what we started to see was that more often than not, we hired the right candidate at the first round. We significantly decreased our number of wrong candidates and not the right fit, and significantly increased the top talent we brought into the business. You as a small business owner do not have time to waste. If you are thinking about hiring somebody, it's because you have an urgent need right now. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to pause and take a minute and come up with a scenario that you want to test their competency with. Get the scenario. We're gonna break this down exactly what you do. Candidate, you're preparing for your interview. Your candidate is waiting for you. You identify the scenario that you want to ask them about. You make sure that you have clarity on the solution that was implemented if you didn't implement it yourself. You ask the candidate if they are willing to help you problem solve, and then you lay out the problem to them. You say, this is a problem that the business has faced. What would you do to solve it? And then you sit back and you give them room to do what they do best. You take note of the process. What was the first thing that they did? Did they ask you for clarifying questions? Did they spit out an answer? Did they stop and think? You observe how they go through the process until they come to a conclusion and a recommendation and tell you what the answer is. Take diligent notes. See how they process information, how they problem solve, how they take decisions, and how they communicate to you. When they realize that they are the expert in the room, pay close attention to whether they educate you or they tell you. Look at the level of confidence and assertiveness they have. Take this as an opportunity to evaluate the whole person. Of course, the result that they deliver, the solution that they provide you is important. Is it one that could actually be implemented? Is it one that you like? Is it one that is sound? What is more important is how they go from you voicing the problem to you getting a solution from them. This technique, when used correctly, will ensure that you hire the right candidate that is the right fit for your business long term. I wish you the best of luck in your hiring journey, and stay tuned for more tips just like this for how you, the small business owner, can become an excellent interviewer without paying for expensive courses.